In a small town nestled in the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, the crisp autumn air carried a quiet stillness that felt both comforting and heavy. Lily sat outside the worn garage at the edge of Main Street, her fingers gripping the armrests of her wheelchair. She watched the faded red paint on the door, its peeling edges telling stories of years past, while inside, a man she barely knew was promising to change her life forever. Her heart fluttered with a mix of hope and doubt, unsure if what awaited her was miracle or mere wishful thinking. For the past 3 years, Lily's world had shrunk into a cycle of doctor visits, physical therapy sessions, and endless waiting. A car accident had left her with a spinal injury, and doctors had told her walking again was unlikely. The wheelchair that carried her became both a lifeline and a reminder of everything she had lost. Days slipped into nights as she longed for the simplest freedom, the ability to stand, to move, to walk again without fear or pain. She clung to every story of recovery, no matter how faint the possibility. Tom was a mechanic who owned the weathered garage just across the street. To many, he was known for fixing old trucks and classic cars, the smell of oil and metal forever tied to his name. But among the tight-knit community, whispers told a different story: that Tom's true talent was his heart. He had built devices for neighbors with disabilities, crafted custom contraptions that defied expectations. Some called him a genius, others called him kind. Lily had heard these stories, quietly hopeful that maybe, just maybe, he could help her too. The wind shifted slightly, rustling dry leaves across the cracked pavement as Lily adjusted herself in her chair. She pulled her scarf tighter around her neck, the cold biting at her cheeks. Her eyes stayed fixed on the garage door. Tom had told her the night before he was working on something special, a device that might support her legs and give her the strength she needed to take her first steps in years. The words replayed in her mind, each one both a comfort and a challenge to her belief. She had spent weeks meeting with him, discussing her condition, her limitations, and her deepest hopes. Tom listened patiently, taking notes, measuring her carefully, and sketching designs that seemed part machine and part miracle. Every visit, she found herself leaving with a small spark of optimism that she hadn't felt in a long time. But now, sitting outside his garage, the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily. Could this really work? Was she ready to face the possibility of disappointment once again? The town around her moved in its usual rhythm. Neighbors walked their dogs, children laughed as they passed by on their way to school, and shopkeepers swept their sidewalks. But Lily felt separate from it all, like a spectator watching a life she longed to rejoin. She remembered the days before the accident, when she ran through these streets with careless joy, the wind tugging at her hair. Those memories were vivid, painful, and yet a source of strength she drew on every day. Inside the garage, Tom was preparing for what might be the most important build of his career. His hands, rough from years of manual work, moved with a precision and care that surprised those who only saw him as a fixer of engines. He was welding lightweight frames, assembling joints with adjustable hinges, and integrating motors that could support movement without overwhelming strength. Every part was designed with Lily's body and needs in mind. He thought of her determination and resilience as he worked late into the night. When Lily first met Tom, she was skeptical. She had met countless doctors and therapists who had offered treatments, promises, and hope that never materialized. But Tom's approach was different, simple, personal, and filled with belief rather than clinical detachment. He didn't see her as broken, but as someone ready to fight for more. That belief was infectious, sparking something inside Lily she thought had long died. With every tool he picked up, every measurement he took, Lily's cautious optimism grew. The early mornings brought a golden light that spilled through the windows of the garage, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Tom worked tirelessly, fueled by coffee and determination, as pieces began to take shape. The device looked complex, part exoskeleton, part supportive, harness, and part mechanical wonder. Tom tested every joint, adjusting tension and range of motion, imagining how it would feel against Lily's skin and muscles. He knew this was more than a machine, it was hope made real. Back outside, Lily watched the sun climb higher, warming her face and easing some of the morning chill. She looked down at her legs, wrapped carefully to protect, against cold, and then at the horizon. The thought of standing again felt distant, but not impossible. Tom had promised he would be there every step of the way, guiding, supporting, and adjusting the device as needed. For the first time in a long while, Lily let herself believe that walking wasn't just a dream, but a possible future. Over the days, Lily's visits to the garage became routine. She would arrive with nervous excitement, sometimes dragging her wheelchair along the cracked sidewalk, sometimes leaning on a cane when she dared. Tom greeted her with a smile, always ready to explain what he was working on next. He showed her prototypes and let her test simple movements with lighter parts. Each small success, bending a knee, lifting a foot, was a victory that brought tears to her eyes. Together, they built more than a device, they built trust. Outside the garage, the town began to take notice. Conversations shifted from curiosity to admiration as neighbors saw the determination on Lily's face and the quiet focus of Tom's work. Whispered about the mechanic who was building something extraordinary and the woman who refused to give up. Local shopkeepers offered warm drinks during cold days, and children waved when Lily passed by. The community, once distant from her struggles, was slowly becoming a source of strength and encouragement. On a particularly cold morning, the first full assembly of the device was ready. Tom helped Lily strap herself in, adjusting the supports around her legs and torso with meticulous care. The weight was unfamiliar but not overwhelming, balanced perfectly to aid movement without causing strain. As she stood, supported by the device and Tom's steady hands, she felt a rush of emotion flood through her. Years of pain and limitation melted away, replaced by a fragile but fierce hope. The first tentative step was shaky and slow. Lily's muscles protested, unused to bearing weight after so long. But Tom's encouraging voice steadied her nerves. "You've got this, Lily, one step at a time." She focused on the sidewalk ahead, the cracked pavement now transformed into a path she was ready to conquer. Each step was a battle won, a promise kept and a dream unfolding. Her heart pounded not just with physical effort, but with the joy of rediscovery. After the initial success, Lily's confidence grew. She spent hours practicing, sometimes frustrated, but always determined. Tom adjusted the device as needed, making it more comfortable, easier to maneuver, and more responsive. The garage echoed with their laughter, occasional sighs, and the hum of motors. It was a place of transformation, where metal and hope intertwined to rewrite a story once thought finished. For Lily, every day was a new chapter. At night, when the town was quiet and the stars twinkled above, Lily often sat by her window, reflecting on the journey. The loneliness she had felt was slowly replaced by anticipation. She dreamed of walking without the device someday, of dancing again, of living a life unbound by limitations. The cold breeze outside whispered of change, carrying with it the promise of brighter days. She no longer waited passively, she was moving toward her future. Tom, too, found himself changed. The work was more challenging than fixing engines, but it was deeply rewarding. He saw in Lily's eyes a spark that made every late night worthwhile. For him, it was never about glory or recognition. It was about making a real difference in someone's life. The community support gave him strength, but Lily's courage was his greatest inspiration. Together, they were breaking barriers and redefining what was possible. As autumn turned to winter, the first snow fell softly on the town. Lily rolled outside with her device, feeling the crunch of snow beneath her new wheels. Neighbors stopped to watch her glide effortlessly over snowy sidewalks, smiles lighting their faces. The town had witnessed a miracle, not just the return of movement, but the triumph of spirit and the power of human connection. For Lily, each step was a testament to perseverance, kindness, and the unwavering belief that no one should ever give up. The sun set over the quiet streets, casting long shadows that stretched toward tomorrow. Lily and Tom stood side by side outside the garage, their breath visible in the cold air. She looked down at her legs, encased in the device, and then up at the sky, feeling the warmth of hope fill her chest. Tom smiled, wiping grease from his hands, proud of what they had achieved. This was only the beginning, a journey of steps, stories, and new horizons waiting to be explored. Inside the garage, the air was thick with the smell of metal, oil, and sweat. Tom's hands moved steadily over the workbench, picking up tools and pieces with purpose. The soft glow of a single overhead bulb illuminated his focused expression as he welded together the lightweight frame of the exoskeleton. This wasn't just any machine, it had to be tailored precisely for Lily's needs, supporting her weakened legs without adding bulk or discomfort. Every joint was carefully crafted for flexibility and strength, every bolt tightened with care. Time seemed to blur as days passed in a relentless cycle of trial and error. Welding sparks flew, casting brief flashes of light against the garage walls. Tom's brow furrowed as he tested the range of motion in a knee joint, twisting and bending it gently. It had to be strong, enough to bear weight, but responsive enough to allow natural movement. He recalled Lily's stories of frustration and hope, letting them guide his work. The frame was fitted with soft padding in all the right places, designed to protect her skin from pressure and chafing. For Tom, this was more than engineering. It was an act of faith and friendship. Tools clattered as Tom set them down, wiping sweat from his forehead with a grease-stained rag. On the workbench, piles of parts were scattered: springs, metal plates, cables, and motors. He soldered wires with precision, connecting battery packs that would power the device's assisted movement. Each component was carefully chosen to balance weight and function. The garage felt alive with the hum of machinery and the occasional scrape of metal on metal. Outside, autumn leaves swirled past the windows, signaling that time was passing swiftly. When Tom finally called Lily inside, her heart raced. The garage, once intimidating with its clutter and noise, now felt like a sanctuary. She hesitated at the threshold, anxiety mingling with hope. Tom's reassuring smile met her gaze. "You're ready," he said simply. She nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. Tom helped her into the exoskeleton, fastening straps and adjusting the supports with practiced hands. The device felt strange, heavy in some ways, and yet surprisingly comfortable. Lily felt the weight of possibility settle around her. As the straps tightened, Lily's excitement grew, but so did her fear. Would her legs respond? Could she trust the machine? Tom held her steady as she balanced upright, exoskeleton supporting her every move. Her legs trembled under the unfamiliar sensation of bearing weight again. The first movement was tentative, a tiny lift of her right foot. Tom encouraged her softly. "Take it slow, you're doing great." Slowly, carefully, she placed her foot back down, heart pounding. This was the moment she had dreamed of, but it was also terrifyingly real. Her second step was more confident, though still shaky. Tom stayed close, ready to catch her if needed, his calm presence a steady anchor. The hum of the motor assisted her muscles, providing strength where her body lacked it. Each movement was a small triumph. Lily felt a surge of emotion, tears threatening to spill as she realized the impossible was beginning to take shape. This machine, crafted by Tom's hands, was helping her reclaim a part of herself she thought was lost forever. The hours passed in a blur as Lily practiced taking steps within the safety of the garage. Tom adjusted the device, repeatedly fine-tuning the settings to match her pace and balance. There were moments of frustration when her legs faltered or the machine's weight became cumbersome. But there were also moments of exhilaration the first time she managed to take several steps in a row, the briefest glimpse of freedom. Tom's patient encouragement never wavered. "Every step counts," he reminded her. "You're stronger than you know." Lily began to notice small changes outside of the garage, too. Her muscles, though weak, responded better with every movement. She felt a spark of hope growing inside her, pushing back years of doubt and pain. At night she dreamed not just of walking, but of running, dancing, and living fully again. The exoskeleton was more than a machine. It was a symbol of second chances. Tom's belief in her fueled her determination, creating a partnership built on trust and shared purpose. As days turned to weeks, the community around them took notice. Neighbors stopped by to offer encouragement and cheer Lily's progress. Children waved when she passed by the windows, and shopkeepers sent warm smiles and small gifts of support. The story of the mechanic and the woman who refused to give up spread quietly but surely through the town. For Lily, it was a reminder that she was not alone. She was surrounded by kindness, hope, and a determination to reclaim her life. One afternoon, Lily stood supported by the exoskeleton as Tom guided her outside the garage. The sunlight was soft and warm, filtering through colorful autumn leaves. The cracked pavement felt rough beneath her feet, but the machine absorbed the bumps with ease. With Tom's steady hands on her waist, she took careful steps down the sidewalk. Each movement was deliberate, focused, a dance of determination and courage. Passers-by stopped to watch, their faces lighting with admiration. For Lily, this was more than a walk, it was a statement. The device continued to evolve under Tom's expert hands. He added new features to improve stability and comfort, making adjustments based on Lily's feedback. The exoskeleton became lighter, more responsive, and easier to control. Lily practiced daily, pushing past fears and limits. The partnership between mechanic and woman deepened, founded on shared hope and perseverance. Together they redefined what was possible, proving that innovation and compassion could heal wounds, both physical and emotional. Each evening, after long days of practice and adjustment, Lily and Tom would sit quietly in the garage, exhausted but hopeful. They shared stories, laughter, and dreams of the future. For Lily, the journey was no longer solitary. She had a team, a friend, and a path forward. Tom found joy not only in the mechanics of his work, but in the transformation unfolding before him. The exoskeleton was more than a project. It was a bridge back to life. One chilly morning, Lily surprised herself by taking a few unassisted steps with Tom nearby, ready to support, but allowing her independence. The exhilaration was indescribable, the wind on her face, the strength in her legs, and the knowledge that she was reclaiming her body. Tears welled as she realized how far she'd come. The journey ahead was still long, but every step was a victory. Tom's tireless work and Lily's unwavering courage were writing a new story, one of resilience, hope, and the power of human spirit. The town celebrated Lily's progress with quiet pride. Neighbors cheered as she moved through the streets, a symbol of determination and the possibility of change. Local news caught wind of the story, eager to share the inspiring tale of a mechanic's ingenuity and a woman's bravery. For Lily, the attention was secondary to the feeling of freedom returning to her life. She no longer watched from the sidelines, she was part of the world again, moving forward one step at a time. In the warmth of the garage, surrounded by tools and memories, Lily felt a profound sense of gratitude. Tom's belief in her had made all the difference, but it was her own courage that carried her through. The exoskeleton was not a cure, but a key, unlocking doors she thought were closed forever. As autumn faded and winter approached, Lily faced the future with hope and strength, ready to walk whatever path lay ahead. The journey had just begun. Word spread quickly through the small Pennsylvania town about Lily's incredible breakthrough. Neighbors, once merely curious, now gathered outside Tom's garage with smiles and cheers, eager to witness her progress firsthand. The rusty red garage doors opened frequently as Lily practiced walking longer distances, her movements steadying with every step. Tom stood nearby, patient and encouraging, ready to assist whenever needed. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement and hope. For Lily, each step represented not just physical progress, but a victory over years of silence, stillness, and frustration, a powerful reclaiming of life she thought she'd lost forever. Passers-by stopped to watch Lily as she moved confidently down the sidewalks, the exoskeleton supporting her frame flawlessly. Children waved, and shopkeepers leaned out of their stores to cheer her on. The town's spirit seemed to lift alongside her strides. People who had once whispered doubt now spoke openly about the miracle unfolding before their eyes. This was not just a mechanical achievement. It was a community triumph born from compassion, resilience, and collaboration. Lily's determination inspired everyone she met, reminding them of the strength hidden in human hearts. Local news outlets caught wind of Lily's story and arrived to capture the moment on camera. Reporters asked questions, hoping to understand the secret behind the recovery. Tom spoke humbly of the mechanics and engineering involved, but he made sure to emphasize Lily's courage and grit. "She did all the hard work," he said. "I just built a tool." Lily smiled shyly, but with pride, sharing her journey openly. The media coverage spread far beyond the town, drawing attention to the power of innovation when paired with human kindness and the will to overcome adversity. As the story grew, so did the support for Lily and Tom's work. Donations arrived from across the state to fund further development of the exoskeleton. Volunteers offered to help with repairs and community outreach. The garage, once a quiet workshop, became a hub of activity and hope. Neighbors took pride in the transformation not just of Lily, but of their town itself. This shared experience fostered a renewed sense of connection and purpose, binding the community in a collective celebration of progress and possibility. The highlight of the season came with a community event held in the local park, where Lily was invited to speak. The park was filled with neighbors, friends, local officials, and reporters. Bright banners announced the theme, "Celebrating Innovation and Courage." As Lily took the stage, her heart swelled with gratitude and determination. She looked out at the crowd faces filled with warmth and encouragement and spoke with clear, confident words. "Tom didn't just build a machine," she said. "He built my chance to live again." The crowd erupted into applause, moved by her honesty and spirit. Tom stood modestly nearby, his eyes glistening with pride. When asked about the success, he replied simply, "Sometimes the right tools and a little hope can change everything." His humility only deepened the community's admiration. He wasn't a hero seeking fame. He was a man who believed in helping others and used his skills to do just that. His partnership with Lily became a shining example of what can happen when kindness meets innovation, and when no one is willing to accept limits as permanent. After the event, Lily continued to push forward, exploring new places and challenges with her exoskeleton. She started volunteering at the local library, helping children with reading programs, and joined a community fitness group designed for people with mobility challenges. Each day brought new achievements and small victories. The device became not just a tool for walking, but a symbol of empowerment and independence. With every step, Lily's confidence grew, and so did the respect and love from those around her. The transformation was not without setbacks. There were days when fatigue and pain returned, moments of doubt when progress seemed slow. But Lily faced these obstacles with the same courage that had carried her from the beginning. Tom adjusted the exoskeleton as needed, refining the technology to ease discomfort and improve function. Their work was ongoing, a dynamic dance of trial, error, and breakthrough. Together, they embodied resilience and the unwavering belief that no challenge was too great to overcome. In the quiet moments, Lily often reflected on her journey. She remembered the loneliness of early recovery, the fear of never walking again, and the disbelief she once felt when Tom first proposed his idea. The garage, once a place of strangers and machines, had become a sanctuary of hope. The friendships and support she gained there were as important as the device itself. She felt a deep gratitude for the community that rallied around her and a renewed purpose to give back and inspire others facing similar struggles. As spring turned to summer, Lily's steps became steadier, her movements more fluid. She started to enjoy strolls through the town's parks and farmers' markets, savoring the smells, sounds, and faces she had missed for so long. The exoskeleton, once a bulky and unfamiliar contraption, was now an extension of her body, responsive, comfortable, and freeing. The joy of simple things, like walking on grass or climbing a few steps, returned in full force. Lily embraced life anew, her spirit soaring alongside each stride. The town celebrated her progress with quiet pride, often gathering to cheer her on during walks. Local businesses displayed "We Believe in Lily" signs in their windows, and the high school held a special assembly honoring her determination. For many, Lily became a beacon of hope, proof that even the hardest battles could be won with perseverance and support. Her story inspired others facing challenges, reminding them that setbacks are not the end, but a beginning waiting to be written. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lily and Tom sat together outside the garage. The sky was painted in hues of pink and orange, casting a warm glow on their faces. They reflected on the journey, the long nights, the doubts, the triumphs. Tom smiled quietly, thankful for the chance to make a difference. Lily's eyes shone with gratitude and renewed purpose. "This isn't just about walking," she said softly. "It's about living fully." Tom nodded, knowing their partnership had created something far greater than either had imagined. In the months that followed, Tom and Lily began to explore new ideas, inspired by their success. They worked with local doctors and engineers to develop even more advanced mobility aids, aiming to help others in the community. The garage transformed into a collaborative space where innovation and compassion met. Volunteers joined their mission, and the town became a hub for cutting-edge rehabilitation technology. Lily's journey sparked a movement, proving that kindness and creativity could change lives on a broad scale. Through every challenge and celebration, Lily's story remained grounded in the simple truth of human connection. Her courage to try, Tom's dedication to build, and the community's willingness to believe created a powerful force for change. Together, they shattered barriers, redefined possibilities, and showed the world that healing often begins with a single step, and the hands willing to help guide it. As the seasons changed and the years passed, Lily continued to walk, run, and live with a newfound freedom. The exoskeleton evolved, becoming lighter and more intuitive. Her story inspired countless others to believe in second chances. And through it all, Tom's garage remained a symbol of hope, a place where kindness and innovation met to rewrite futures, one step at a time.